Hello, darlings. Week 4 is over and I feel like it went really good. I changed up my format a little bit. So instead of rambling, I felt like I was rambling on a lot about my week. So instead of doing that, I am going to just recap like what went well for the week and what my challenges were and what strategies I used to work through the challenges. So positives. I stayed in a positive state all week, so I thought that was really great. And then I almost poisoned my grand dog. I was giving my grandson raisins, and I, for some reason, thought it would be a great idea to give my grand dog, Winston, a raisin, or 2, 3, like 10 raisins. And then afterwards, I thought, can dogs have raisins? And then I Googled it, and no, dogs cannot have raisins. And I called the poison control, and I gave him some hydrogen peroxide, and he ended up throwing up, and I got all the raisins back. So anyway, that was good that he made it through. He's perfectly fine and healthy and everything. And I learned my lesson about what not to feed dogs. So that was interesting. I also did a fast. I did the fasting mimicking diet by Prolon. That went really good. That was a 5-day fast, and my teenager was out of town during that time, so that worked out really well. I didn't have to worry about cooking for anybody, and I lost 6 pounds, so it wasn't really that hard either. Definitely doing that again. Let's see. My teenager had a fun trip in DC and arrived there safely and got back safely, and everything went really well. So that was definitely a positive. I drank less wine this week, so that was really good. I got a lot of cleaning and organizing done this week. I had the money to repair my hot water heater when it went out. So something really synchronous happened with that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But my hot water heater went out, and I had to spend about $3,000 to repair it. But I had the money, so that was a positive thing. And did several lessons on my QHHT course. I worked on my YouTube channel, so that's really good. And I got a positive response on a legal issue that I'm involved in. I was also in service this week, so some things that I did in service to others. Took good care of my dog and grand dog, other than almost killing him with the raisins anyway. I took them to the vet, and they're healthy. They got their vaccination, so that went well. I gifted my oldest daughter some money to make her life a little easier this week. And I purchased some decorations for this amazing shower that I'm giving to her in in August. And then I watched my grandson for one day and one evening to help my daughter out, and also because I'd love to spend time with him. And then I got my son's room ready because he is moving back in. He'll be coming back while I'm in Greece on vacation. And also I may have gotten him a job with the company that came out to do the repair on my hot water heater. I exchanged some positive texts with several family members for Father's Day, and just because I supported my local businesses by buying a new hot water heater and also spending $1,200 at the vet. So this was an expensive week, but lots of people are benefiting from that, keeping people in my community employed, so that's good. I cooked breakfast for my youngest daughter. I took a class on how to better engage English language learners, so that's a positive thing. I started planning a fun school year for my social studies class that I'll be teaching, and I'm really hoping to use Bashar's teachings I'm planning on using Bashar's teachings in my classroom. So as far as keeping kids engaged, making it experiential, using story structure, all those things I'm going to be doing. And then I did laundry for my oldest daughter because her washing machine is broken. So those are all like service things that I did, which there's a lot there. I didn't really realize how much I was doing in service to other people. Challenges. So things that could have affected my vibration if I let them. Definitely the experience with the dog and giving the dog raisins and, you know, almost killing him. That could have definitely had an impact, but I stayed calm. I stayed in a positive state. I actually had the thought that one of the things that Bashar talks about is how we are all souls and we are focused in physical reality, but we're mainly spirit. And the same thing applies to dogs. And so I thought, well, you know, maybe he chose to go out by raisins. I don't know. I did what I could to save him. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't have been really upset if he would have died. But at the same time, I'm having a better understanding that we don't really die, that we are eternal beings. And that, weirdly enough, helped me get through the situation with him. And I stayed really calm. Also, another challenge would be forking over the $1,200 to the vet, but that was like for the vet visits and then also their heartworm medication for the entire year. So they're pretty much taken care of for the entire year. And 600 of that is mine. 600 of that is my oldest daughter's responsibility. And then also $3,000 to replace the hot water heater that, you know, hurts a little bit, but I just have to remind myself that Bashar's abundance, the way that he describes abundance, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. Also, I got a $4,000 quote from a contractor because I have some mold in my detached garage, and that's what he would that's what he would charge to fix it, cutting all the mold out of the bathroom where it's in. Also, I was really worried about my hot water heater whenever it went out, and it was gas, and there were like little signs all over the hot water heater: explosion, danger, beware. So that was a little bit terrifying, and I was trying to ignite it, and the pilot light wasn't working. But also the warning was, if you smell gas, then you have to you know, call, I don't know, the gas company or what have you. But I was worried about that all night. So the water heater went out and then it wouldn't light. And then I just kept thinking all night that I was smelling gas. So that's one of the reasons why I converted it to electric. I don't really, it might be cheaper to have gas, but it's not worth it to me. I think my peace of mind is worth more than that. So yeah, those were the challenges this week. So these are the teachings that help me get through the challenges. One of the things that Bashar teaches is when you get into trouble, call AAA. So not AAA, the automobile agency, but AAA as far as a mnemonic for staying in a positive state of appreciation and gratitude. So number one, acknowledge what you have. So financial wise, I had the ability to pay for the expenses that came up. So yeah, that's amazing. I have that. I didn't have to put it on credit or anything. So I had that ability to pay for it. Appreciate what you have. So I'm very appreciative that I have hot water. I don't like cold showers. And also just appreciative of the people that came over to do the repair. They were super friendly and helpful. So many things in my life are just amazing. So just going into a state of gratitude about what I do have, and then just allowing, you know, whatever needs to come next to come. So that's the AAA formula, and that really helped me this week in a couple of different ways. It helped me with forking over the money to the vet, and also the replacing the hot water heater and getting that repaired. So when I was worried about dying during the night because of the gas leak that I was envisioning, I just took some deep breaths and then just reaffirmed and reminded myself that I am spiritual, and that I have already determined when I'm going to make my transition, right? That has already been determined at a soul level. Of course, I don't know when that is, but I just have to trust that the timing, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. So if it was supposed to happen from the gas leak, then it was going to happen. That doesn't mean that I didn't do what I could to make sure that it wasn't leaking, and then if it was, definitely take care of it. But at the same time, I have to release control of something that I have no control over, and just trust the timing and trust that my soul has decided, you know, at a soul level, I have a certain theme that I'm playing out, and when it's my time to transition, then I'm going to transition. So that made me feel better. And then the same thing with Winston. Whenever he ate the raisins and I was worried that he might die, I did remind myself that he is a spirit as well, and he also is here, you know, for his own purposes, and he has decided at a soul level when it's his time as well. So I tried to save him, and I did what I could, and it worked. But at the same time, I have to realize that everyone is here on their own journey, and we don't really have a lot of control over that. Also, I had an unbelievable synchronous thing that happened. So my son is getting out of the military and coming back coming to live with me in Tennessee. He's actually never lived in Tennessee before, so I can't say coming back, but he's coming to live with me in Tennessee. And I was online the night that my hot water heater went out. I was online looking for jobs for him, and look, there were several different options out there. The next day, my hot water heater went out, and then the next day the plumbing company came out, and I asked them about their jobs, seeing if they were hiring. And so they have an apprentice program, and you don't have to be a plumber or an HVAC person in order to apply for the job, but they will train you to be a plumber or an HVAC technician or an electrician. So he has a lot of different options, and they also pay you while you're going to school. I think it's like $17 an hour or something, which is pretty good, you know, for him not having a college degree or anything. And I was talking to the technician about the job, and he thought that my son sounded like he'd be a good fit for it, and even said that I could use him my son could use him as a reference, and his dad is the manager of the company. So if my son gets this job, that's gonna blow my mind. How my hot water heater went out, repairman showed up, I talked to him about the job for my son. Like, that is crazy if that happens. And I think it probably will. It sounded really promising. So that just goes to show, if you stay in a positive state, then you'll get a positive result. So I could have just been upset about my hot water heater going out and really frustrated and, maybe rude or short with the repairman, not really, getting in a conversation with him and talking about his day and such. So I stayed in a positive state. I got my hot water heater fixed. or replaced, and possibly a job for my son. So that's amazing. And then also I reminded myself about Bashar's definition of abundance. So his definition is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. It's not necessarily what you want to do, because our ego mind sometimes has wants and desires that we think will make us happy, but that's not really what will fulfill us. But what we need in life will fulfill us, and it will make us happy. So abundance is having what you need when you need it. And I'm abundant. I mean, I can't think of a time in the recent future where I haven't had what I needed when I needed it. So I think that's amazing. I love that definition. And see if there's different forms of abundance, he says. Sometimes you might need a little bit of money, but you also, like, there's communication, that's a form of abundance. You could have trade, synchronicity, like what happened with me, and possibly the job for my son. That's a form of abundance. So all of those things. And that's pretty much it. So this is week 4, and this, I think, is going to be my new format. Instead of talking like endlessly about my week, which is a lot of times not really too exciting, I'm going to go over like the challenges, how I was of service to other people, and then also the positive things that happened during that week. So thank you for joining me, and if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I hope that you are having success with applying Bashar's formula as well. Please leave a note in the comment section below and tell me how things are going with your journey. Have a great day.